So there's only one day to go before Superman 2025 finally hits the screens and early reviews are out. But the movie now faces more challenges than ever. I've already made 2 videos on the topic covering almost every single angle and giving you my honest opinion, and in the previous one, I spoke about how being sandwiched between 2 major franchise releases had put Superman in a bad position among many other things. And now, 10 days after I put my last video on the topic out, things have changed drastically. Now before I get to the Henry Cavill part, so yeah, I will. Let's talk about a few other major developments. On one hand, the pathetic Jurassic World Rebirth has opened to a monstrous 322 million weekend gross and is well on its way to crack the 700 or possibly even the 900 million mark. Well, I think that the idea of humans going up against giant monsters will never not be profitable, no matter how bad the execution may be. And on the other hand, the black sheep of this summer, which turned out to be Brad Pitt's mind-blowing F1, has already crossed the $300 million mark in just 2 weeks, and the word of mouth is so incredible, it's very much holding steady even in its second week. In fact, it's apparently seen a boom in ticket sales in some territories, even after the opening weekend. I myself was shocked by the fact that the IMAX screens were pretty much booked out, and on a Wednesday morning of all days. And damn man, it looks like the movie is about to hang solid for another couple of weeks at least, and deservedly so, which in turn means the Superman movie now has a new competitor to chip away from its ticket sales. And James Gunn can claim all he wants that not touching the $700 million mark doesn't make it a flop, and technically he might be right, because that seems to be more or less the break-even point. But let's be honest, this isn't the little leagues where making the production budget and marketing costs back can count as some kind of a win. Because unless everyone forgot, there's a planned and in motion, decade-long shared movie universe which heavily depends on the success, not a lack of failure, but actual success of the film. So no, not crossing the 700 mil mark doesn't make it a flop, but at a time when the entire genre is dying a fast death, that does not count as a win. And now let's talk about the juicy part. The potential masterstroke by Gunn that could completely change the game for the film. Henry Cavill appearing as Ultraman. I'd heard rumors of this being a possibility a good while back, but at the time, I didn't pay much heed to it. Because I thought to myself, no way Henry would ever go back to WB or ever join the DCU after the way he was unceremoniously pushed out. But the more I think about it and the more I see, it looks like all things point to exactly that being the case. First and foremost, even though we all know that Ultraman plays a major role in the film, nobody, and I mean nobody, knows who it actually is. His identity has been left so ambiguous that there's not even a mention of him anywhere on the entire Wikipedia page of the film.
Wikipedia? You're using Wikipedia as your source of information?
Oh, you sly devil you. Isn't that just a bit suspicious? Heck, it's actually very suspicious because from what the trailer showed and what we know about the character of Ultraman from the comics, it could not be anyone else that hurts Soup so bad that he literally starts bleeding and stuff. And for those living under a rock, Ultraman is Clark Kent from a parallel dimension, so he more or less is Superman. Except he gets stronger by kryptonite exposure instead of getting weaker. Well, I think that explains the bleeding and major damage we see on Soups. And nobody knows anything about who's playing this character. You see, Henry Cavill has a very distinct build. You can spot this barrel-chested, short-armed, thickly built Greek god of a man from a mile away. All the aforementioned physical attributes that the guy who plays Ultraman seems to possess. Cavill is also a tad bit shorter than Corenswet, which looks to be exactly the case when we see Ultraman standing behind Superman. And on top of this, Cavill has been on radio silence for a bloody long time. If you see his Instagram, you will notice that he hasn't really posted anything about any of his upcoming projects for about a year now. All that you get to see are pics of him cooking steaks and a couple of Lawn Giants watch ads. It's almost giving out calm before the storm vibes. Henry has also been very successful playing the bad guy. So if this does turn out to be true, the DC fans will lose their minds, including me, because Henry was a really good Superman. You can question the writing, the direction, and all the other departments all you want, but his portrayal in and of itself was spot on. The DCEU is dead. I've accepted that, and it's better if other Snyderverse fans accept it just as graciously. But the way they gave the fans hope and then fired Henry just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And this one move could fix all of that. Because not only will we get to see Henry as an evil version of the Last Son of Krypton one more time, we can also see him go head to head with Corenswet Supes and pass the torch, or the mantle rather, in an epic way. It also opens doors for potential future appearances, which sounds awesome. So all of this is either going to be the single greatest move made in secret in history, or a massive swerve which will leave the fans utterly disappointed. I've been through an unhealthy number of videos and Reddit posts which discuss this topic to try and get clarity. Some think it's him, others swear that it could never happen. But I, as a Henry Cavill fan, sincerely hope that it does happen. I don't usually do this, but I'd love to hear your stance on the topic. So let me know in the comments section. And hey man, looking at the promotions for the film, Corenswet seems to be a sweetheart and a great pick to play Supes. But that's something that we already knew, didn't we? And now it's time for the bad news. There's always bad news following good news, isn't it? Because James Gunn says that Superman is a film about migration. Actually felt dumb just quoting him out loud. I never really thought Gunn's want to interject identity politics into his movie promotions. I don't know if it's the Disney effect or if he's always been this way, but my god, was this a stupid statement to make. It's high time these people understood that Superman, or the superhero genre as a whole, is for families. When will they get it through their thick skulls? Nobody from the activist crowd really gives any sort of a about the genre, and for Gunn to come out and say this, and worse, for the actors to stand in his support, which I actually kind of understand. I mean, he's their boss after all, but why? I don't know if it's arrogance or the high of all the success that Gunn's had, but by doing this, he's for sure going to alienate a large chunk of the ticket buying crowd. Bad move, Gunn. There's also a couple of contradicting reviews that have come out by people who broke embargo, and they both seem to be on the opposite ends of the spectrum. The first one claimed that it's the quote-unquote final nail in the coffin of the superhero genre, also describing the film as a mess among other negative things before deleting the review. I don't know what happened, it might be a fake review by a Snyder fan, or it could also be that the film was actually bad and this was just PR damage control. But it's real sus, isn't it? And the other media outlet GQ said that it's the most distinct superhero film with an honest tone and a brilliant color palette, which is a trademark of Gunn's films. And they also said that there isn't any controversial aspects about the film, which I really hope is true. Rotten Tomatoes has given it an 86% certified fresh rating, which counts for because remember, they gave 86% to Ironheart as well and 79% to She-Hulk, so yeah. But the people I do believe are some of YouTube's honest reviewers who are giving the film a mixed to positive reaction without uttering a single word about Ultraman. Let's see if this becomes an I told you so or a sorry I was wrong kind of a video. But for today, that was it folks. I'll see you after the release of Superman, and for now, I'll go eat a cottage cheese panini.